Okay, today is the solstice. That's a day of great celebration. The solstice, for those who don't know, who are totally peasants, I have to remind you that it is the turning time of the year. It's the time of the year where the days suddenly start to get longer and longer, and it'll go on till the 21st of June. Okay, it's a day of Druid festivals. I'd much rather be in Stonehenge at dawn, uh, sacrificing virgins or whatever they do there, and it's fun. Anyway, they usually have a Druid ceremony at the solstice in Stonehenge, if it's still permitted by the government, God help us. Okay, so for your entertainment today and amusement for those who are suffering from insomnia, because I've been told that my voice puts people to sleep. So you get free treatment today as well as a video about the mistakes that people make doing RV that makes the exercise useless. Okay, let's begin with the first one. And now I'm talking about RV1. RV1 is where you breathe out totally, and with the last of the air that you breathe out, you fill your cheeks. Now the question is, how much do you think your cheeks are going to be full? They're not going to be full like that. That's not going to happen, because you're going to have a balance here. If you can fill them like that, then you're not doing RV, if you follow what I mean. If, on the other hand, you're doing full RV, you're going to have barely enough air to inflate the cheeks mildly. And that's what we're aiming to do. So, demonstration, first of all. That's it. Now, a common mistake which makes the whole RV training completely useless and gives you a false reading is where somebody exhales totally and just the last bit takes air into their mouth to fill their cheeks from the outside. If you suspect that you're doing this, what I suggest you do is keep your face in the water and exhale into the water and fill the cheeks before you go down with the head totally submerged. That way you can't make an error on the thing. Your only error can be that you're filling too much air in your cheeks. That means to say that you haven't yet mastered the art, and you're not really going down on RV. So it's a kind of balance, kind of trade-off here. But it's incredibly important. I've had numerous people who suddenly were going down to 18, 19 meters on RV1, and they were exhaling totally. But they were taking in air into the mouth to fill the cheeks just before they went down. Now I'll demonstrate that. Okay, you can go down a long way. Now you tell that same person, don't do that, and you show him how to do it. I guarantee with you, he'll probably not pass 7 to 8 meters. It'll take him back that far. Now have a little think about this. If by involuntarily cheating, you can go that far, what are the dangers of it? The dangers is that you outrun your ability, you outrun your reflexes coming in, you outrun your blood shift and everything else. Because that takes both a little time and it takes constant pressure. Okay, and so you're equalizing fine. So equalization is not an object. The only thing is acclimatization to pressure. Well, there you are. You would need some acclimatization to pressure before you manage to do a 19-meter dive taking air from the outside, but it's cheating. It doesn't give you a correct reading or a correct approximation to what would happen on a very deep dive. Okay, so let's leave that one. Now, another one of the things I want to talk about is the whole attitude. This is another big, huge mistake. I'm frequently asked the question, how do I know my reflexes are embedded? And when do I pass from RV1 to RV2? Well, the answer is both simple and complicated. The simple answer is when your reflexes allow you to. Now, what's going to happen if you take only a very little air in your cheeks, as we just discussed? Let's say you can get down to 10, 11 meters on that. Then the question is, once the air is gone, can you go on a bit? Now, you try very carefully, session by session, not in the same session, to go on maybe 1 meter and feel what's happening in the ears. This is where you begin to change sides of your brain from I do to I feel, I observe, and I react. They're two different sides of the brain. If you want it, they're all in the prefrontal cortex, dorsolateral prefrontal cortex, and the orbitomedial. But I mean, it sounds nice to throw in a bit of science, but actually it's totally unnecessary. You're passing into instinctive reactive intelligence. In other words, what we want to get to, and this is the thing that I've said time and time again, is children, have a remarkable ability to equalize their ears without any instruction and without thinking about it. 3-year-olds can go down fairly deep in a swimming pool and play with toys and pick up toys from the bottom with their little mouths open and their eyes open, and they're down there hunting these lovely little colored toys, and they're having no trouble equalization. It's happening automatically. It happens in reaction to the optimum amount of pressure. That's the thing, not the maximum amount of pressure, the optimum amount of pressure. Who decides the optimum amount? Your subconscious mind and your ears. Okay, that's where the whole science of this thing is coming in. So creeping on, training by training, after your mouthfeel has gone, you slide into RV2. And then when you also find that something else is happening at the same time, that you can carry the mouthfeel longer. So it's a lovely balance, and you may get down to 18, 20 meters. At that time, definitely, round about 20 meters, it's a good idea to move over into RV2, which is, of course, going down without any air in the mouth. Now, those are very important things, and I want to pass over from that into the mental attitude, which is critical here. Everybody says, at what depth do I break? It's not a question of what depth. It's not a race to get to 20 meters. Oh, it's taken me so long to progress to 12 meters, 15 meters, whatever it is. The longer it takes you, the better you are adapted. This is not depth training, guys. This is adaptive training. It's what happened before depth. The longer you spend doing this, if you spend all winter doing it, it is the best thing that could possibly happen. Because then you will be really adapted to pressure and to the depths, and you'll have all the tools necessary. And when you come to diving your 100-meter dive, you'll find, my God, that was the easiest dive of my life. Now, I heard that this year more than once for people who were diving with me over 100 meters. There was a German guy who was trying to reach a German record, and he was at about 91 meters and wanted to get to 100 meters. And I've forgotten where the record was, somewhere around 93, 94. And he managed to do it, and he came up and he said, that was one of the easiest dives I've ever had. I loved it. And I did nothing but enjoy it. And he sent me a video, and it was a very clean dive, and it was beautiful. And that is due to the fact that you are adapted to the pressures. You're not fighting yourself going down. And you're in the right mindset for it. You're not thinking, I must get to 90, I must get to 100, I must do this, I must do that. There's none of that. It's, I'm going to watch and see what happens here. And I'm watching the equalizations as they tick past. I'm watching this, that, and the other. It's not a question of setting up a rhythm. Don't be misled. It's a question of watching the mind find the optimal interval between equalizations. And that may not be the same interval all the way down. The rhythm may change. In fact, it will change. And if you are enforcing a rhythm on it, you're missing the point. So all this is being passive, watching to see what happens. When that becomes totally automatic and you don't have to think about it anymore, and the subconscious mind is in charge of your equalization, you have unconscious equalization, which is one of the biggest joys in freediving. So attitude is vitally important. Do not be stressed by the fact that I have to get another 2 meters, I have to get to 15, I have to get to 12, whatever it happens to be. That's not what it's about. The longer you are at where you're at, the more you're learning. And it's just enjoy the process. Learn to enjoy every dive. Yeah? And okay, that's enough on that subject. So there's another couple of things that I want to talk about. I want to talk about something that I've had with you cold water guys. I have to do my RV dives in a mask because the cold is too great on my face. What? You can't do RV and a mask. Because the simple reason is, first of all, that's dangerous. The second thing is, look, if you're truly RV, you've got no air right from the beginning to equalize the mask. So it's the same thing as diving with a pair of goggles. Not recommended. So what do I do then, Aharon? What do I do? I can't stand the cold. It burns my face. It burns my eyes, everything. Get used to it. How do I get used to it? I only go in twice a week or once every 2 weeks or whatever it happens to be. Terribly easy. Get a big bowl of cold water. Preferably if you've got a thermometer, yeah, less than 10 degrees, probably about 8 degrees or less, yeah, and do facial immersions in that. At first they'll be brief, then gradually, with training, they'll get longer and longer until the whole thing becomes nothing. Yeah, it's easy to put your head in 4-degree water, and when that happens, you're off and running. So it requires some work. These things actually require training. We're not into the quickie type of training, we're into the good type of training. The type of training where you come to the surface and you don't vomit buckets of blood or pass out like some prima donna on a stage. Enough of that. Yeah? We want to come to the surface with a smile on our face and being able to say that that was an easy dive and that was fun and I enjoyed the hell out of it. Not that it was a challenge and I met it head on and all the rest of the stuff and get my testosterone blooming here with everything else. No. We want that to be an enjoyable experience, real fun. Let's get the fun back in freediving, not the challenge. You can't challenge the sea. There was a king in England. He was, I believe, the first Viking king of England. And his flatterers said to him, "Even the sea will obey you." So to put them to shame, he got his throne carted down to the water's edge. And the tide came in, and it came up, and he said, go back, and the tide kept on coming up. Yeah, his name was King Canute. He was the first Viking king of England. You look that one up, guys. Good story. Okay, that's it for now.